Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Thursday as you are listening to the show today. We, of course, have pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen. And I swear I got to quit giving Zoom a credit. They're not giving me a free account. I got to pay like everybody else. I got to quit saying their name on the radio show every day. But it does give me the opportunity to talk with guests that I love talking to. It is our Community Health Partnership Day in partnership with Valley Health. Mary Presley is on the Zoom screen staring at me. She is the Director of Rehabilitation and Wellness at Warren Memorial Hospital. Joining her is Susan Parnell. She is a physical therapist and an athletic trainer. She is going to be Mary's right arm, from what I understand, when the new hospital opens. And Mary, you get a brand spanking shiny new department.
Yes, we do. Now, I want to let the community know that the facility where everybody's loved to come at Commerce is still going to be open. This is going to be an additional gym. This gym is going to have a very unique flair. We're going to have it being physical therapy only, and it's going to have a twist of having sports performance. So it's going to be look more like a CrossFit gym more than a rehab gym. Would you not say, Susan?
Yes, definitely.
The look and feel are going to be high-end performance for the sports performance side and having classes. During the day, we'll be doing physical therapy, for your upper extremity, lower extremity, but also we're going to have a specialty in back care, spine care. And I'll let Susan talk a little bit more about the techniques and the equipment that we'll have at the facility.
Yeah, because I've seen a picture of this, and I don't want to call it a contraption because I don't mean for that to sound the way it's going to sound, because it looks really cool. So, Susan, kind of give me some insight into your specialty in this new clinic when it gets open.
Sure. So the last 10 years of my treatment, I have specialized in spine care, or the McKenzie method. And with McKenzie method, it's also known as mechanical diagnosis and treatment. It's a specific way of evaluating and treating, but one thing that we can use as a tool to help with treating the spine is this back machine that you're talking about, which is called the Repex table. And it's repeated motion, in range motion. And with this type of technique, you have to do repeated repetitions of movement, and sometimes your arms just give out, right? So it's a lot of exercise. So this table will actually provide the movement for you, and we're really excited to have it.
And I think sometimes people misunderstand when they think about physical therapy in this way, that if something is helping you do it, it's not working. But that's not the case, because the movement itself is what needs to happen, whether it's powered by you or something helping you make that movement.
Absolutely. So this type of technique identifies what's called a directional preference, or a movement that helps your condition. And so once we do the evaluation and identify that movement, we can use this table to help, accentuate the therapy that you get. So we're excited to have it, for sure.
And Mary, you mentioned sports performance. That's kind of a big deal because we're a pretty heavy sports oriented community up and down the Shenandoah Valley, from baseball to football to soccer, basketball, everything. This is going to be huge for a lot of parents out there.
I think it is. I grew up in a very rural community, and was my outlet, and I played games my whole life. And living in Front Royal for 30 years, I have just seen the whole growth of our school programs, our community programs. I've coached basketball, I've coached soccer, and seen what is out there. But I think the missing element for our community is getting that training that the kiddos need for speed and agility, trying to get that core stabilization through exercise, how to work in a functional realm as they grow. What's too much? When can they start weight training? When can they start the speed and agility? How do we transition them when they've grown 6 inches at one time? But the other thing that's happened with COVID is there's a whole population of our youth that have missed out on recreation. Not having school, not having gym classes, not having ability to be active, we have a whole nother population to address of kids needing movement. So yes, it's sport performance for different types of things, but sometimes it is just understanding your body and how to coordinate it and getting yourself fit from sitting in front of a computer, which the kids are not made to do so. So this is an opportunity to have an outlet where you know your child's going to get the proper technique of how to do things, how to use your body, how to grow into your feet and arms and legs and get that core stability. So we're looking at having conditioning classes of your middle school child and being able to do these things. And they may not want to be in a play, but how can they become their better self? So yes, it's sport performance for that elitism, but it's also for that youth who needs conditioning, needs to get out of that sitting in the posture, get away from the finger front of the phone and the computers and getting to that hold together movement. So it's going to address our community needs. And the other sports performance that people don't think about is our tactical athletes, your police officers, your firefighters, and those kind of guys who need that continual training in order to keep themselves safe so they can keep us safe. A lot of people have to attempt to pass a course in order to become a firefighter. So we will actually have tools that can help facilitate that motion. And one of the pieces of equipment that I'm really excited about is called a tank. And I'm going to let Susan talk about this because it is so unique.
What it is called the tank sled. And what it is this big sled that they can push and pull, and it provides resistance. You can also pull ropes on it. I'm sure you've seen in the gym where they do the ropes. But what is unique about it, it's on wheels, but provides resistance. So that the farther or heavier that they push it, the more resistance it provides. So that's something that's going to be unique to us. The other thing is we'll have this multi-purpose gym by Life Fitness. It's called the Synergy 360. And that piece of equipment will be used to help train people. There's various different stations that they can use to provide resistance and various positions that we can get people in to get them back to their sport or their job as far as the tactical athlete.
Well, and it's important to mention, too, that while we talk about sports performance and we're talking about tactical people in those kinds of jobs, if I'm just a regular, active, everyday person who likes to hike, who has a job that has me walking around all day, and I break my leg, right, I'm going to need something like this probably to build my stamina back up, to get my strength back. So it really is going to check a box for almost anything and any injury in our community.
Think about the carpenter and the roofer that have to go up and down ladders, have to be able to stay balanced on a tilted surface. I mean, this is going to be prime time for them and put them in functional situations to help them be able to do their functions of work.
And is it also a situation where you can come and do some of these classes that you mentioned or some of this conditioning, even if you don't necessarily have a problem, but you feel like you're getting tired too early, or maybe you've been doing something one way that probably isn't the smartest way mechanically? We were talking about that a minute ago for your body. Can you come and learn how to do your job or your movements better so that you can maybe get more production out of your body?
Absolutely. Um, One thing about the new campus, which is exciting, is yes, it's a hospital campus, but it's also a wellness campus. We're going to be here for our community and go to the next chapter of being well. You don't always have to go to a hospital to fix things. You can also be there to how to promote yourself of your overall well-being. And I'm excited to say that we have had a community partner donate this amazing amount to provide a trail that goes up and behind the hospital. It's going to be a nature trail with dirt paths and bridges that's over 3 miles. So anyone is going to be able to go up and do the walking around the trails. To speak to your point about the classes, we're going to have different classes in the evening to do, to provide your best well self. We're also provide personal training, which we already do in our Commerce Avenue, but this is going to just be an extension at the new facility as well. So during the day, personal training will primarily be happening, and then the evening will be more of the classes. That's the goal.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, can you kind of walk me through what you expect it to look like? Because I know you're not completely there yet. I mean, obviously, the new hospital isn't going to be done and move in ready until the middle of June, but you touched on it a little bit with the CrossFit equipment and things like that. I want to make sure that people understand, how cool it's going to be, and clarify again one more time that the other locations are still going to be available. This isn't going to be the one-stop shop. There's still going to be other options for people. Can we talk about all of that in the next segment?
That sounds great.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation. We are pre-recording with Mary Presley. She is the Director of Rehabilitation and Wellness at Warren Memorial Hospital. Joining her is Susan Parnell. She is a physical therapist and athletic trainer. She will be based out of the new clinic at the new hospital when it opens in mid-June. We're going to chat more with them about that when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a Quick Money Chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Thursday. As you are listening to the show today, we, of course, have pre-recorded our conversation. We are chatting with Mary Presley. She is the Director of Rehabilitation and Wellness at Warren Memorial Hospital. Joining her on the screen is Susan Parnell. She is a physical therapist and athletic trainer. We're going to talk about both of those things in a second. This is part of our community health partnership that we do every month in partnership with Valley Health. And Mary, you touched on this briefly when we first started chatting at the top of the show. The new department in the new hospital at Warren Memorial is not replacing the other locations.
That is correct. We're still going to have the Commerce building, 120 North Commerce, where we have physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech, as well as our pediatric team. They will still stay at the facility. We will still have our fitness membership at Commerce, as well as our existing secondary location at Riverton. that is still going to be there. This is just yet another branch that we're going to have at the hospital for the wellness campus.
I would imagine this is probably going to act as the hub for all of the other things as well, based on what you've told me is going to be at this new location.
It depends on the service, honestly. So many of our physical therapist patients may need other services such as occupational and speech. So the hub primarily will still be at Commerce, and this will be another extension of all the rehab services we have for Warren County.
So I'm going to have you walk me through two different scenarios. So scenario one is I need to come to the new facility because I need rehab of some sort. Do I have to have a doctor's referral? I can't just decide, oh, I heard Mary on the radio and she sounded really nice when she was talking to Janet, so I want to go there and get some therapy. It's not really that easy, right?
We're hoping to have that soon, but right now, we work off the referral from the physician, and that can be even a chiropractor, a nurse practitioner, your family physician, orthopedic, neurologist, any of those professionals can refer you to our facility, and then we can then proceed with what type of care you need at what facility. Now, we still have the Riverton complex, depending on what side of the county you live on. We might say, would you like the convenience of going to the Riverton for physical therapy, if that's the only service you need? For those that live right here in downtown, we have the Commerce, and then the new facility may be more attractive depending on the injury that you have. If you are a higher level athlete, if you need to get some more specific strengthening type of exercises, we may offer to facilitate that care at the new site. As you mentioned, the mid-June, June 23rd is the magic date for the move of the patients at the hospital. We're hoping to open our doors June 28th for our first appointments at the new wellness facility. Now, we're calling it physical therapy and sports performance at that new facility. I was just there this morning, and they're still wrapping up, trying to get all of the I's dotted and T's crossed and getting the floors taken care of. And because it's such a nice open space, we become the hub of letting everything stay there, kind of a stationary. So they're cleaning it out, getting the rooms ready and that kind of thing. We're trying to anticipate our first delivery of some equipment in the next 2 weeks. The floor is in, which is exciting in that as you walk into the room, it's very much an open gym effect. And one of the key features we have is 55-foot artificial turf. So we can actually get the children on the surfaces because so many of the injuries occur on turf. And we want to make sure that we're training them, getting used to that turf under their feet. And it's going to be built a ramp on the end of it, so we can really do some challenging drills on this ramp. As Susan mentioned, we have a couple of really unique pieces of equipment that we'll have in there that can promote youth for strength training and core stability. But you're going to have your traditional treadmill. We are going to have a manual-based treadmill to kind of push against the force. We're going to have the similar treatment rooms where they're going to be private, where you can go in and we can have that one-on-one time. I'm going to let Susan basically talk from a therapist perspective of what it would look like if you came in for an appointment. What's unique about us?
Sure. And so, in my 16 years of experience, I've found that working here at Valley Health has been very important to me because we can provide that one-on-one care. So it would be with the physical therapist, the care that you get each visit, and it would be one-on-one, so the therapist is not multitasking between two patients. And I think that is really important, and that's something that is really valued when I work here at Valley Health. And so when you come in for your visit, and especially if you're a young person, obviously the parent would be there as well, and I welcome that. We really enjoy to have patients with their parents there because, it is a team effect. They're the ones that are going to be helping with their child get better. So It would be a one-on-one session where we would really try to figure out, what is going on, what are their deficits, and what we need to work on. Are they getting back to a specific sport, or are they going back to hiking, or are they going back to their job? But really finding out functionally what their deficits are and how we can help them and establish a plan of care. So once we do that evaluation, we can get an idea of how long that plan of care would be. And it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 visits, maybe if it's something very simple, or maybe 4 to 6 weeks if or even longer if they've had surgery or if they've broken a bone. But once we get that evaluation completed, we can get an idea of how long the care would be. And we're really good at setting up functional goals and making sure that we're hitting those goals and readdressing those as we go along from week to week. So one of the things, like I said, that's very unique is that you will be with a licensed physical therapist each visit.
And I want to really celebrate my team. The National Standard for Physical Therapy started asking therapists to graduate with their doctorate. And 2012, the school started changing that in Virginia. And I am happy to say that over 95% of all of my therapists have a doctorate level training. The two that don't have 20 years plus specialty training and have licensure to be able to treat differential diagnose cases. They're probably my most sought after therapists just because of their outcomes. They're just incredibly talented. So I have a little hidden treasure of all of these doctorate trained therapists here in Front Royal. And our hours of operation are going to be like that 7:30, maybe 7, depending on what the community needs, till about 5 o'clock to try to get those folks after work. And then, like I said, we're open up the others to specialty training. One thing I enjoy is once the patients have completed their plan of care, I call it graduate. They can graduate to our fitness program where we have exercise physiologists that are here on Commerce Avenue. And then if they would prefer to take that next level of training, we have the personal training available to them. Now, the insurance is what drives the physical therapist. We will bill for their claims for all the insurances. And then the personal training is actually, it is a cash-based product that we have, which is unique because I'm able to be in a hospital setting. We're able to keep our prices pretty low. And it also fosters the opportunity for excellence for our youth. So we're not pricing it outside of what's crazy. If you go into the city, some of the prices for personal training, it can be so overwhelming that it's not achievable. So I have really heart for our youth and our tactical athletes to be well for our community. So we're trying to make it financially available and practical. So it's
Well,
something.
and that's the other scenario that I wanted to ask you about, Susan. So let's say I'm a mom and I have a kid who maybe is in Little League, or he's a freshman about to start high school and wants to play baseball, or he's a junior or senior and is looking at junior colleges or colleges and wants to play some sport at a collegiate level. Under what circumstances and how do I reach out to you to talk to you about getting him into some of these programs? Or her, I should say her. I have boys, so I always default to him.
Of course, we'll have our formal physical therapy, but in addition to that, we will also have an exercise physiologist there to be able to provide, pre-performance type stuff where you're doing prevention or even trying to strengthen before you actually do an activity. So those are the sort of things that we will provide. I mean, at any point, I'm always open to talk to a family member if they need to, maybe they do need more of the sports performance, or, maybe there are some things that we're seeing that we need to correct that would need more formal physical therapy. But absolutely, we would provide on both sides as far as the care if they needed more rehabilitation versus like the, get ready for sport or get ready for activity.
Well, and as the mom of a baseball kid, I will tell you that never has the phrase "an ounce of prevention" is worth a pound of cure, I think is what the phrase is.
Right.
Never has that been so true, because if I had known if I'd known then what I know now about what he should have been doing as he became a pitcher in baseball, we could have avoided so many issues and so many problems because we didn't know. And we just thought, oh, it's throwing a baseball. How hard could it be? It's a lot harder than people think it is.
And we want to bring that knowledge and bring that opportunity to our community. That's the whole goal. I mean, we're all about education. We're all about prevention and keeping our kids healthy and in the game. And I think that as our kids get bigger and taller and faster and wanting to do travel ball and wanting to get into these high-end sports, let's keep them safe. Let's do what's right. And I think Valley Health has really helped foster that and given us the opportunity to really create that experience at this sports performance facility.
So, Mary, if somebody is listening today and they know they need something, but they're not really sure how or where to start, what would you suggest as the first best step? Is it to call and say, this is my situation?
Absolutely. So at this point, they would call the 540-635-0730 number, which is at our Commerce location. The telephone and numbers still have yet to be determined at our new facility. So when I do that, we can put it up on the website. But I think that will help direct you in the most appropriate way. And one of the things as a hospital system, and we can provide screenings. So if you just don't know, can you help me? We have created a screening tool that's about a 15-minute one-on-one time with a therapist to say, it's not an evaluation, it's an opportunity to have that one-on-one discussion, and how can we help facilitate you in the best direction? Is it more a therapeutic intervention? Can PTs or OTs help you more? OT may have a more hand or that type of thing. Or is it more, why don't you do a course of fitness and try this, and if you have function, we can help you facilitate the best mode to help you in your functionality. So calling the Commerce Avenue to kind of get that conversation started. And it may be as, Susan puts her eyes on you and all of a sudden says, I really think you're going to need to have more therapy intervention. Then we would help facilitate that conversation with your physician. And if we can try to get those orders, established quickly and to try to get the course of therapy started as quickly as possible.
Awesome. Well, I will tell you that on May 27th, I am getting a personal tour of the new facility with Floyd Heater himself. And I can't wait to see all of the cool stuff that's going to be in your part of the building.
Take your camera. I was just up there, and our community is going to have such an ooh and ah experience. One, specifically for the views. You don't realize how high you are up once you go up the hospital hill, but the views are equivocal of some of the skyline overlook views. It's magical. It's just beautiful. And structurally, as the architect has done, there's a lot of glass. So the features of natural light and being able to see our great, beautiful valley is amazing. It's just beautiful.
My plan is to bring somebody along that will videotape the whole thing. So then I can put it up on the station's Facebook page and everybody can get kind of a sneak peek of what's going to happen before it officially opens.
What's been nice is a community partner has been taking drone pictures around from the top, looking around. And it's amazing the views and sights that are happening, and the parking that's going to be available, and what we're bringing to the community is just well overdue. But I think the community will engage it both for their health needs as well as their wellness needs.
Well, Mary, Susan, thank you both for taking some time to meet up with me on the screen today. It has been a fun conversation. I'm excited to get you guys in the new building and see all of the cool stuff that you start doing. We are going to wrap up our conversation today. We have been chatting with Mary Presley. She is the Director of Rehabilitation and Wellness at Warren Memorial Hospital. Joining her on the screen is Susan Parnell. She is a physical therapist and an athletic trainer. She will be based out of the new department at the new hospital when it opens in mid-June. So I highly recommend following them on Facebook. I know that there's a video up on the valleyhealthlink.com where you can see some of the updates and some of the things that are happening for the construction and take advantage of following along with that. I will be back tomorrow. I've got a brand new episode of The Valley Today ready to go for you. I've already recorded it. I am so far ahead of the game. We are chatting with Mark Sutphin for Extension Office Friday. He's got with him 2 volunteers from the Help Desk Green Line, and we're going to talk about some of the questions that they get for gardening, for pesticides, for all of this kind of thing. It's a really cool free program that is handled by the Northern Shenandoah Valley Master Gardeners Association. We actually talked so long we couldn't get it all in on the air, so there's even a podcast after. Maybe back here tomorrow, a few minutes after noon. I'll have the whole thing for you.